What's up, traders? Chris Capri here, secondskiesforex.com. So, got a good video for you here today. This is one that I think every single struggling trader should watch. So, if you are that person, I think you should be watching, listening to this video because this is a pattern that I've seen students, whether my students or our students, get kind of stuck in this phase. And it's one of those phases that traps a lot of struggling traders. And if you fail to make it out of this stage, you're never going to get to where you want to with trading. It's completely unavoidable. It's a hurdle you're going to have to get past. The typical defining characteristics of this phase is that you as a trader, maybe this is you listening or this is you, before, but you thought that the only hurdle between you where you are now and making money trading was the strategy. And if something was going wrong with your trading, that you were only focused on the strategy. You were feeling like the strategy was the main thing, that if you change that, you would be doing better. Maybe you're struggling to get many winners. You haven't been getting many winners lately. Maybe that's an experience you are having right now. What a lot of traders do in this phase is they turn their attention towards the strategy and feel like there's something wrong with the strategy. While that can be true on certain cases, from my experience, most often it isn't. It's actually, there's a lot of other things going on that are affecting your performance, you making money, not being able to find many winners lately, go beyond the strategy or have very little to do with the strategy. So I want to talk about this email exchange I had with a recent student who came to me from one of those confirmation price action courses and felt like they need to learn a little price action a little bit deeper, so they came to us. They're serious about this and they put a lot of time and energy in, and they're very passionate about it. And yet when they come from that course to this course, it's a big adjustment. So I'm going to read for you this kind of email sequence that it's already kind of been in play for a little bit, but I'm fast forwarding it to a point where we're kind of getting to the meat of it. And I think once you see this kind of wording and phrasing that this trader is using in the beliefs, and you can really kind of see the mindset that they're thinking, which caused them to write this and think this, you're going to realize either you're there now or you were there in the past. Anybody can get stuck in this phase. You could have beginning, intermediate, or advanced chart reading skills, technical skills, price action skills, and still be struggling. And you can be in this phase. This phase is going to be the first step that will get you out of the very beginning mindset phase. And when I say beginning, I don't mean like somebody who's a beginner in this, but somebody who hasn't built up their mindset skills. So it's still something that needs a lot of development at this point. There's some basic mindset skills that are missing. And this is one of them. So let's get into this. So he says, "Hi Chris, it's been 6 months since he's been on trading." So he's been trading for 6 months total, and he came to us about 2-3 weeks ago, maybe a month, not even. He says, "I do manage to get some good trades, but due to poor risk management," note that for later, "due to poor risk management, lost most of them and then learning the hard way to build it up." So he's losing a lot of capital, and he's kind of getting a little frustrated about it. He said, "I do not know how to link to MyFXBook because he's got an IG account. If I'm correct, IG is if you're using their main platform, it doesn't connect to MyFXBook or FXBlue. So he's wondering, how can I analyze it? How can I analyze his trades?" And the reason why he's asking or wondering how I can analyze it is because when you join our course, you get a free Skype follow-up section. And in this session, we get to really dive in deep into what's going on with your trading. You have somebody who's independent of you and your experiences, looking at the numbers on your account, looking at what's going on, and then saying, okay, here's a leak right here. You need to fix this. You want to work on this. And here's what you're doing good. Keep doing more of this. And then give you a direction going forward. Give you a revisement to your plan or an amplification to your plan. Give you information and ideas that you weren't thinking of right now. And so with my students who I've done these Skype sessions with, I ask them to say, hey, can you give me your MyFXBook account or something like that, so I can kind of look at the numbers and then do some analysis as to what's going on. I can see a lot of the other things, but helping me see the numbers, I can spot patterns in a trader's number and students' numbers that will tell me exactly what's going on with them, what they're doing correctly, what they're doing incorrectly. I can understand the mindset behind a trader just by looking at their numbers. So this becomes very invaluable for a lot of my students. And so he's asking, hey, how can I do this Skype session with you and have you analyze it if I don't connect on MyFXBook? So he goes on, and this is where it gets even more interesting. "I've been working on many trades using your methods, maybe 20 plus," which 20 is just the absolute beginning aspect of it. So, but so far only managed to get 1 or 2 successful trades. Hence, I wanted to cross-check with you as to why applying the methods are not working for me. It might be a matter of time. Is this something you can help identify? So he's asking, hey, I've only won a few out of the last 20. And so he wants to find out why using our methods isn't working for him. He's basically more concerned about the methods than that he's using and why our methods, which working for our other students, and he's seeing that aren't working for him. So there's like some wisdom and confusion here. There's a part of him that recognizes that he's part of the problem, but when he's so there's a part of his conscious mind, or actually unconscious mind, that's kind of catching on to saying, okay, there's a problem here. But then when he directs his conscious mind to what he thinks is the problem or what may be the problem, his focus is on the method. There's nothing in his questions that says, hey, is there anything I'm doing wrong in terms of risk, in terms of money management, in terms of mindset, discipline? He's not asking anything about this. His main question is, I'm using your methods, I'm using your strategies, and it's not working for me. So he's either wondering, okay, is he applying the strategy wrong, or what's wrong with the strategy? He's not saying, hey, is there something wrong with my risk management? Is there something wrong with my discipline? Is there something wrong with my mindset, execution, all kinds of things. So from here, this leads me to ask some questions. So my response is the following. And so I say, okay, I have a few questions. First, what is your fixed risk percent per trade? Number two, do you keep a trading journal every day? Number three, do you have a trade plan or trading plan? Number four, do you follow your trade plan 90+% of the time? Number five, do you do weekly, monthly review analysis of your trades? Number six, do you practice in Forex Tester 2 or any other simulation program, basically? Number seven, what do you do to prepare mentally for each trading day? Number eight, do you trade at fixed times? Number nine, how many trades are with trend or counter trend? And number 10, do you take screenshots of all your trades? And then I say, hey, if you can answer each question with one sentence each, that'd be appreciated. Because I'm really just interested in the data and the bullet points. And then once I have that, and I can really kind of paint a picture or get a clear picture as to what's going on with them. So here is their response. He said, hi, Chris, please find responses below. I'm not happy with my results lately. So, okay, here's where we're at. So on the question, what is your fixed risk percent per trade? His response is, I normally follow 2%, but due to ego, have increased my stop loss, especially in Euro Yen pair, where my loss is running in the thousands at present. So thousands of dollars, I think, at this point. Okay, so let's just kind of break this one down real quick. So he's wondering about, hey, if he's applying the methods correctly, the strategies correctly. But then in his first answer to my question, he says, 2% is part of my trading plan, but due to my mindset and ego, he has increased his stop loss. So he's not following his trading plan. He's not following his max risk per trade. He's not following his, he's throwing off all his risk parameters by this. And he's basically saying, hey, I don't want to take a loss at this point. I've increased my stop loss so I don't take a loss. So we have right here, we have an admission that there's a problem with risk management, and there is a problem with mindset where he's not willing to take a loss, or in other words, he's not willing to accept something that is a guaranteed fact of trading. That's a mindset issue. And in terms of breaking down that mindset issue, there's many things we could say about this. I could spend a whole lesson just on the mindset behind this kind of mentality. But let's just start with, for now, that he's has a mindset issue of not being able to take a loss, and he's not following risk management. So we got risk management and mindset issues showing up 1x each. Second question, do you keep a trade journal every day? His response, I initially started and then switched off and back on it again. So what do we see here by this admission? Mindset / discipline issues. He's not doing it consistently. So remember, if you want consistency, I said in the last video, if you want consistency in profitability and in your trading, you're going to need consistency in your mind. He's showing right here that he doesn't have consistency in his mind because he's switching on and off and on again with his journal. Third question, do you have a trade plan? His response, so far I used to trade on confirmations only at key levels, but now practicing the new taught methods. So a trading plan isn't just the type of trades that you're taking. And I have a whole lesson in this in the course, but maybe he hasn't watched the video of this. So a trading plan isn't just, hey, I'm trading these strategies. There is much more to a trading plan. He's basically saying right now, in answer to this question, that his trading plan is narrowly defined to one variable, which is which strategies am I trading. And so that to me is a skill and a mindset that he's going to need to change around this. There is no way your trading plan can only be about the strategies you're using and it be a trading plan that guides you to success. It's just not. It's not going to happen. That would be like saying a football player like Cristiano Ronaldo or an American football player like Tom Brady. For like Brady, he only practices his grip on the football in terms of how to throw it. He doesn't practice like shoulder stance, width of his hips, positioning of his feet, rotation of the hips, where he's holding on the stitches, where is his elbow in relationship to the ball and everything. Like that's just focusing on one thing. Or that would be like a football coach thinking just, I only need to worry about this one player on their team. We don't have to worry about the others ever scoring. It's a very narrow, myopic kind of version of a train plan. It's just not going to work. You have to have a plan for many more things beyond your strategies. If you are right now at that phase where your trade plan only encompasses your strategies, then my suggestion is to start to you can either read my article on trade plan, you can become a member and study our lessons on how we help you build a trading plan. Um, I would say, hey, keep doing what you're doing and let me know how it works in 6 months from now or a year from now. Let me know in a year from now. Try doing what you're doing, and if you're doing great in a year from now, then I'll recant my comments here. And if not, then you might want to consider trying something different. So let's start with that. Okay, along the trading plan, do you follow your trade plan 90% of the time? His response, yes, but now trying to practice new methods and deviating from my trade plan. So I'm not sure if he's saying he's trying to practice the new methods that he's just getting to in our course because we have many strategies, or is he saying he's switching from the confirmation to us and that's not working with his current trade plan? Or maybe he's just saying, hey, I kind of follow my trading plan, but I'm trying new things, and so I was, and now I'm not. Um, this to me brings up an interesting question. When should you make an adjustments on your trading plan? We have a combination of time that has to go by before we suggest making adjustment to your trading plan, and we also have kind of like an execution based goalpost for this. Like, hey, after you've done this many trades and you've done this many things, then at that point we have a sufficient baseline to say, hey, this is a good place to make some adjustments, or hey, here's some things you want to keep. We do not recommend you changing your trade plan at any time you think it's okay. You should have very clear criteria for what it means for you to change your trading plan. And if that criteria isn't met, then you have to keep going with what you're going, because it's possible that you're just experiencing variance, and it's possible that you don't have enough data to make adjustments at this point. So it's super important that you have those goalposts and it's very clearly laid out at what point can you even consider changing your trading plan. He doesn't seem like he has those right now. Okay, number 5. Do you do your weekly, monthly review analysis of your trades? He says yes. Great, fantastic. So he's passionate. He's working hard at this. But look at where most of his work is directed. It's the charts, it's the strategies, it's the trades. So he's reviewing his analysis on his trades. Is he doing a lot of the mindset things like journal and all these other things? No, but when it comes to his charts, he's all over it. So that's a good thing. Now we just need to spread some of that love and effort into other areas of his trading. Do you practice in any simulation software like Forex Sister 2 or Trade Simulator or anything like that? He said he tried, but it seems very complex to practice. Did not work for me, and I did not receive any support from their team to help understand how FT2 works. So, okay. This is something we talk more in depth in the ATM course, our Advanced Traders Mindset course, but look at where his focus is in this statement. Is his focus on the problems or the solutions? It's all about the problems. He said, I tried, but it seems complex to practice. So he's saying, hey, I'm having trouble with the user interface, and it's hard to kind of learn the software. It didn't work for him, and he didn't get much support from their team to help understand how it works. So that's kind of a bad thing on their part. They should be giving better support. So he's basically just said, okay, I've come to a dead end here, which is not true because there are other things you could do. You could ask for members in our course who are good at FT2 and ask them for a little bit of help and see if they're willing to spend a little bit of time for you to answer some questions. We have a lot of helpful members in the community, some great people who are super helpful. So instead of just kind of coming to what you think is a dead end, why don't you focus on the solution? Your energy is all concentrated on the problem. It's not like, okay, what can I do to solve this? You didn't even have the question. Hey, what can I do to solve this? You know, what would you recommend? It was just, it didn't work. This didn't work. Done. So it's problem focused and not solution focused. And there's a difference. Generally, people who are successful at what they do are solution focused, not problem focused. So this is a big mindset thing that you're going to want to work on. Okay, next part. What do you do to prepare mentally for each trading day? This is the hardest bit. He said, due to kids who are relatively young, I've been going through a lot of mental stress, which is affecting my trading, and I'm trying to get it right. So he's probably, not getting as much sleep. He's going through physical and mental stress, dealing with two young kids. Anybody would. I would be too. So all of this is very understandable. So he's saying, hey, I'm having a hard time trying to integrate all the time I put into trading with all the things that I'm experiencing outside of trading, and those things are having an effect upon me. So this is a very good, honest answer, and this is something that is somewhat challenging because two young kids aren't going to work necessarily with your schedule. It's kind of just up in the air at that time, and I get it. A lot of people, you probably have a very busy life. You who is listening to this video right now and trying trading, you probably have a very busy life. And I'm willing to bet the majority of others that are listening to this right now probably have a very busy life. And you probably don't have like hours on end to sit. And you got family, you got these other things. And so the great thing about this is that he's recognizing that things outside of his life can affect, outside of trading, can and will have an effect upon your trading performance. So it's good that he mentioned this. So Sinu, email me and personally, and I'll give you some suggestions on this. That's going to be my recommendation. But I just want you to kind of recognize the fact that maybe part of your performance and what's happening right now doesn't have to do necessarily with trading itself, but maybe outside of trading. Just like for athletes, there are things in their personal life that affect their performance. It's no different with trading. Next question. Do you trade at fixed times? 9 to 5, mostly UK time. Okay, this is great. So he has very fixed times. This is super important for many reasons. As I talked about, if you want consistency in your trading, you're going to need consistency in your mind. He's got that. That means every single day he sits down around the same times, and his brain and his mindset and his thoughts are all directed towards trading during that time, hopefully. And, this is something that, so when you have consistency in your schedule, if you can get consistency, do it. If you can't, then try and find consistency in as many variables in your schedule as you can. Why is this so important? Because first off, if you think about what helps you wire these successful trading circuits in your brain, you're going to need to repeat something. And the more it's repeated with regularity, times of the day and everything like that, then the more consistency you're going to have in your wiring, assuming all other things you're doing are equal. Focus and intention and effort and emotions and all these other things. Assuming all that is relatively stable, this consistency in your schedule and your actions will help make it easier to wire these things into your brain and make them dominant circuits. If you think of what a dominant neural network is, it's something that's been repeated many times. Like this neural activity has been repeated in your brain, the connections to the other cells and the other networks and the other, neurons and dendrites and everything like that. It all continues to happen to where they build in strength and intensity, and eventually they become this dominant neural network. And then when anything kind of goes through your mind that needs something that kind of network is responsible for, it's most likely that network's the one that's going to take over. You will not do 90% of the time what you're most dominantly wired to do. And to get dominant wiring, you need repetition, you need consistency as much as possible. On top of that, it's not just that from 9 to 5, it's like go time. Even before he even gets there, his mind is subconsciously preparing itself to get ready for trading. He's directing his cognitive resources to get ready for trading, very much like an athlete before game time. Not even just the fact that they're doing practice, their mind is getting ready for what they're going to do. And so this, all is very, very beneficial. If you can have fixed times, we definitely have some suggestions on how to relate to this in the Advanced Traders Mindset course, so make sure you check that out. But good job on this here. Okay, next question. How many of your trades are with trend or counter trend? He says a few number of trades are counter trend, which are huge losses. So this part's really interesting. He says huge losses. Why are these huge losses? If you are following your fixed risk percent per trade, then you should never have huge losses. They should just be a small percent of your account every single time. My guess is that it kind of goes back to this point he was mentioning here. I'm not following my fixed risk percent, and he's having a hard time taking a loss. And that's what he's realizing with counter trend trades. If you aren't able to take the loss, they become bigger losses because the dominant order flow, which is with trend, is very easily able to push the market in one direction. The more dominant the order flow is to one side of the market, the more imbalanced the market is, the stronger that directional flow. So he's trading counter trend, he's trading against that strong flow, and that trades into, because he can't take a loss and he's trying to ride it out, it ends up being a bigger loss. So again, another admission that part of his problems here is down to mindset, not being able to take a loss, not following his trading plan, not following fixed risk percent. Last question. Do you take screenshots of all your trades? He says yes. So good. Anything that has to do with the trade or the chart itself, he's doing. That is great. This is awesome. This is, keep that up. Now we just need to add a few things. We need to take that enthusiasm you have for the charts and the strategies and the methods and everything you do about your trades, and we need to transfer some of that and distribute some of that towards your mindset. Why? Well, one, you're not following a fixed risk percent per trade. Two, you're not necessarily right now able to take a loss psychologically. You're not able to be consistently in terms of executing or filling out your trade journal every day. You're not following your trade plan. You're trying new things at your own discretion, not necessarily something that is based upon evidence. It's just based upon your experience and you not meeting your goals right now. That's a little different. So, what else? You've kind of run into some problems and with your training aspect, and so you're now neglecting it because you haven't continued to look for different solutions. So that's a problem. You are experiencing things in your external life that are influencing your current life. That's a real thing. I get that, and I think that's something that we can work with, and I definitely emphasize with this. You're trading at fixed times, which is fantastic. Keep that up. You are trading some counter trend, and when you do, you aren't accepting the losses, and because of that, you are, experiencing a drawdown of more losses than you should. But at the same time, you're taking lots of screenshots of your trades. So that very narrow area where all your energy is focused on the trade, the method, the charts, the setups, the entry, stop loss on that. We need to transfer some of that because there's a lot of other things that are going on that are heavily affecting your performance. So now with this being said, this is not just addressed to my student here. It's also addressed to you who are having some, kind of a similar experience. And maybe when you answered these questions, you had some similar answers. If that's true, then my questions: do you now just think that the only thing separating you from profitable trading has to do with your strategy, has to do with just the method, has to do with how you're applying the strategy? Or maybe, just maybe, are there many other individual things that are affecting your performance? Risk, mindset, discipline, emotions, inability to take losses, all these other things. If there are, the first question you need to ask yourself is, one, how much of this stuff were you aware of before I asked these questions? Two, now that you are aware of it, ask yourself honestly, If you spent 40 hours last week trading or whatever, or last month, how much of that was dedicated towards these things versus spent on the charts trading entry stop loss take profit strategy? Look at that distribution. If it's imbalanced, that is your answer. I mean, we already have a bunch of answers, but there's probably the main underlying theme is that you are not directing enough energy towards the things you need to make money trading. You're just solely and myopically focused on the charts, the strategy, the entry stop loss, and if I can just improve this and get better, then that's all I need to do to make money. It's like telling a quarterback all they need to do is to be a good quarterback is to throw the ball. Hey, don't worry about reading defenses. Don't worry about footwork. Don't worry about positioning. Don't worry about when to hold it, when to throw it away, when to toss it, when to find the open receiver, how to do that. Don't worry about all that. Just worry about how you throw the ball. We'll win games. We'll throw touchdowns. You can see that's complete bullshit. You can see that that just doesn't work. So if you know that's true, intellectually and conceptually, then why would you think it actually works for trading? Why would you have that belief? This is super important. This is the phase that a lot of traders, and it doesn't matter if they're beginning, middle, or advanced in terms of their chart and technical skills. This is where a lot of struggle, and it's a phase they never get out of because they get caught up in the very limited form aspects of trading. It's all they see. It's all they think is the difference between them and making money. It's the strategy. It's the entry. It's a better stop loss. It's take profit. It's the charts. It's my pattern recognition. It's all just within a very small sphere of trading. You're missing this whole other world around you that cannot be ignored. It's like you're using the whole house, but you're only cleaning up one room. And you're just letting the garbage pile up in this other room and the dishes pile up and all these other things. And you're God, why? Why does my house smell? Why is it all dirty? I don't know why. It's so strange. It doesn't make any sense to me. I thought I cleaned it. That's kind of what's happening here. You're focused on one room in a large house of things that you need to deal with. It's not that you necessarily have to put more hours and more work into what you're doing. Maybe you just need to redistribute how you focus those hours. Maybe you need to focus on some other things first. Oftentimes, the traders, the first step to gain a profitability is plugging the leaks. You want to be constantly building skills. Skills is something that you're always working on. But improving performance oftentimes first comes with plugging the leaks because the leaks are usually bigger than the water that's being poured into the tub. The leaks are letting out more profits than what's coming in. And if you can start to reduce some of these, you're going to find yourself getting closer and closer to profitability. First, if you're losing money, you're going to find yourself getting closer and closer to break even. And then once you pass that, you'll find yourself becoming more and more profitable. That's a real thing. I've had traders that I worked with for 3, 6, 9 months that they went from losing money to pretty much break even, and then now they're slightly in profit, and now they're actually making money. I've seen those transitions. That's a real thing. You could be having those transitions. You could be having those changes and increases in your performance. That is a real thing. But you're going to have to work at this. You got to be serious, man. And I don't mean like Olympic athlete, but you probably got to do some things differently than what you're doing right now. And you're going to need somebody who's going to give you feedback and be able to spot what's going on with you, and someone who's going to be able to see everything that's going wrong and what you need to work on, and give you an independent voice that's outside of your thinking. That's what our community is for. That's what my apprentice Sasha's for. That's what I'm for. That's why I really like our community, because there's so many great people in there. It's super helpful. And it's nice to have that kind of feedback. It's so easy to feel alone in this game, to feel like you're the only one that's experiencing these problems. And then you start to connect with people and you're like, wow, you aren't alone anymore. I actually had somebody search for, trading alone, feeling lonely. And they found our website. I was like, wow, that's interesting. But I think that's a common experience for a lot of people. When I hold seminars or webinars or things like that, people connect with people. They feel like, oh my God, I'm no longer alone, and there is support out there, and there are people out there, and that's what your mentor's for, and that's what your senior students are for in your community. And so, that's what we're about. Everything I've talked about here should give you a window and a lens into what Second Skies is about, what I'm about, how I teach, how I trade, how I work with my students, how I can help you get better. This is just a fraction of it. And there's so much ongoing training with monthly webinars, and or at least almost monthly webinars, and we got quizzes, and Skype sessions, and Q&As and all kinds of things. If that's interesting to you and that's valuable to you and that's something you're looking for, come check us out, secondskiesforex.com. If you're serious about this and you've recognized there's some more to price action than pin bars and fakies and confirmation signals, come check us out. If you're recognizing that you need to take your training and price action deeper, that's what we're here for. And if you're looking for feedback and people who can give you insight and work with you and challenge you and help you find things about yourself, your strengths and your weaknesses, and how you can improve your trading performance, that's what I'm here for, and that's what we're about. So, with that being said, I look forward to your comments and questions on this. Are you experiencing some of these things right now? Or have you had these thoughts before? Or have you had this experience before? This is all super important. If you have, we got answers for you. There's a way to get out of where you are now, and we can help you do that. So, with that being said, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, and I look forward to your comments and questions and what you got out of that. And other than that, I hope to see you inside my course. Until then, take care, everyone. Good luck trading.